Hey guys, it's Alex here, and I'm back with another video. In this video, we're going to be dissecting this. There you go. It's a cable. It has some wiry bits and stuff inside of it. There's your video. Bye. I'm just kidding, guys. Okay, so this is a power cable from somewhere, something. It's basically just a big high voltage cable. May I just add that it's about 12:19. I'm not sure whether that's in the morning or night still, but yeah, it's still dark outside, so whatever. So I have taken apart this type of cable before. I'm saving two segments of it, one to take apart in this video, and then this one is just, well, to have. There was originally a section of it that came from about here to somewhere over here. And then these are just sections I cut off the end before I dissected the entire thing. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is find a straighter end, like one that's more flat, as opposed to something that's on an angle like this. Now what we want to do is... Okay guys, sorry I had to get a better camera angle and some light here. I have the flash on my phone on. So what we want to do is press down really hard with the tip of our knife there and make an incision, and then just run along that a few times with my knife. Again, pressing as hard as you can. But there's one crucial thing that I have forgotten in this scene. Gloves. So obviously I don't need gloves for both hands, seeing as I'm holding it with this hand, but seeing as I am cutting towards my hand, I want gloves that are not easily cut, like these very thick, for the most part flame retardant leather gloves. So again, we just want to press as hard as we can, and you want to do that a few times over. Like so, until your knife hits this part, which is a copper casing around the cable. So at this point, we have just begun to take the case off this thing. From here on out, it's basically going to be that over and over, cutting a line down the middle, and then removing the case. So here, as you can see, we have made a cut in there. Now, when we can lift this part mostly off, we just need to make the incision much longer. That's not the right hand for that glove. Once again, it's like 12:22 in the morning, so I'm really tired and, yeah, tired. So, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'll see you guys in a minute when it's all done. Okay guys, I'm back. So here we have what's left of the cable that we need to dissect. Here is the outer coating. It's actually just like rubbery plastic crap. Nothing really too exciting here. So okay, so for this next part, I'm assuming a lot of cables have this that are either underground or in like the Forester stuff. It's going to have a copper or other metal casing on it. For this part, you're definitely going to want some form of good gloves. I gotta take my watch off here for a minute. There we go. There. Okay, so now that we have our gloves on, we can put our knife away, which I meant to do before, but, well, you see how well that turned out. So basically this is just loose and is wrapped around the wire. And you may be thinking, well, Alex, this is copper. Wouldn't this just be conductive enough to carry it? And I would say, well, it would be, but this is just a casing to protect the insides. I'm not sure actually why it's made out of conductive material, but, well, I'm not going to question the engineer's decision, whoever designed this, because, well, obviously they're good at what they do, otherwise their design wouldn't have been used. So one good way you could do this is just rolling it like this off, or you could just do this. Honestly, I just use both ways, whichever one seems easier for this situation. So right now, I'd be rolling, and then towards the end, you can just kind of pull it out. And you're left with this big copper thing. You could, well, I'm saving most of it, but you could just turn this in at your local recycling center. Or if you already have plans for it, then, well, kudos to you. Because personally, I didn't even know this was in here when I found the cable. So for the next part, well, you probably won't need really need gloves. I mean, unless it's really dirty inside. It's just this annoying plastic coating that seems to break a lot. So. And this, you can just toss in the garbage, which I have one right below my work table here. So what you're left with is this rather compact looking thing that you can sort of bend and stuff. Now you could just leave it like this and use it for whatever reason you may have for that, but yeah. You didn't come here to see good enough or almost, so yeah, I'm going to dissect it the rest of the way now. So, now you're going to get your kniffy back out, and kniffy is just a not so fancy word for saying knife. You just slice along here. You don't have to press really that hard. Just basically have fun with it. And then try and get your knife in there and rip some of the fabric stuff up. This fabric, and you should see rope or some kind of spacer in there. You see this stuff here is the wire and this stuff here is the rope. So the rope is just to make the wire stay in place, and then the fabric is just to wrap it all together. Okay. This fabric seems to be, I mean, it's not really meant for protection, so I think it's just kind of weak here. but it's really annoying to peel off. And I'm actually using tweezers for some of it. Now keep in mind, you don't have to get all the small shreds off. That was just my perfectionist coming out and slapping me in the face and saying, hey, do this. So, yeah. No, it gets a bit messy if you pull out the rope early, before you have the fabric off. I can tell I'm getting tired just by the way I'm speaking now. So most of the time it'll just come off like this. Just a bunch of sloppy little strands of it. Strands? Is that even a word? I don't know. Good enough. So now what you're left with is this weird striped thing. So now what you could choose to do is take this rope out of here along with this white thing, which I'm not sure why that's in there. But yeah, it's just that. There's really nothing special about it. You don't need to keep it for any reason. In fact, honestly, I started to keep a little bit of it and then realized this rope was complete crap anyways. So, yeah. Just pull all this out. Honestly, I found it a lot easier if you pull out all the rope before messing with the wires themselves, because if you mess with the wires while the rope is still in there, it just gets kind of messy and, well, yeah. No, as far as I'm aware, there's really not much here that's really harmful, but I wouldn't exactly rub my skin all over this either. So, yeah, just wash your hands after this, even if you're wearing gloves, which I am. So now you're just going to take any old pair of pliers that are not these pliers, like these pliers. Or you could just use a pocket knife. And you're going to just cut around the edge of a wire and try and get it loose. Like this. There we go. So this now is coming off rather easily, actually. So this is basically just made up a bunch of those wires and these. And now I'm gonna make a quick time lapse of me pulling these off of this. So cue the time lapse. Future Alex. Hi. I hope you're having a good day, and yeah. Hi there. Okay guys, so my flash is on for some reason. Not quite sure why. Can you guys see that? Yeah. So, now we have all these little strands of wire. So, they're in their coatings and you may notice that this coating is rather sticky. Like, maybe like a really hard Play-Doh consistency. Kind of. If you have gloves on, to get rid of some of the hairs on it, just rub it down some. Like this, for this demonstration. So what we're going to do is, seeing as it's nearly impossible to take off the entire coating, trust me, I've tried, taking off about 3 inches of it took me about half an hour. So what we're going to do now is, well, first I'm going to get the tool from the other side of the garage. And of course, like as per usual, it's not where it's supposed to be. I found them. So, wire strippers. We're going to need those in a minute, but just a warning, do not just try and do this as it is. It will not fare well for your wire strippers. In my case, I spent like 15 minutes cleaning them out with my pocket knife, and I actually did a really good job at getting all the gunk out, but it still sure was annoying. So what you're going to do is basically shave down the coating, try not to damage the wire too much. Like this, like the way you would whittle down a stick or a pencil if you go to school. I mean, to be honest, they might as well not have those mechanical pencil sharpeners in the classrooms because they're all crap. I mean, you stick your pencil in it and it basically eats the pencil and spits out a piece of lead, along with a very unsharpened pencil. Or at least in my school, that's basically a pencil sharpener. Okay, so now you have a reasonable amount cleared. Now you want to put it in, I would say, the biggest setting in your wire strippers. And squeeze with all your might. Okay, so I ended up bending it to make it easier. Now you may realize that it's not 100% clean yet, and that's where something else comes in. Sandpaper. Now, like I said earlier, I had a big long piece of this wire, and I got a bunch of strands of these out, and all the lines on here was from getting the coating off. So, I mean, this is a fairly coarse sandpaper. I'd recommend doing the sandpaper with a hand without a glove. Just like I said, a really coarse sandpaper works well. Now this is incredibly used, so I'm just gonna get out a new piece. The wonderful world of my drawer. So this is a lovely brand new piece. I'm just gonna start out with a corner here. There we go. So now you'll see it's starting to get cleaner, but you want to make sure you clean the entire thing. See how there's a clean stripe there and there, but there's still stuff in the other places. That's because your thumb is only pressing there and there, so you want to rotate it. Or sometimes just do this, as well as the other way. So there we go, there's this mostly cleaned off. Now anything you have left at this point you can just basically scrape off with your knife. Honestly, the blade on this thing is just about ruined from me doing this to maybe 20, 30, 40 times. So this blade is crap anyways, so I'm just going all out with it. If you guys have a really new blade, you might not want to do that though. So now you have one side, and you may notice this is single strand wire. You can stick this into a battery terminal, do anything you want with it. It's ready for use. Now, I'm pretty sure my future self just edited in something about safety and not to stick this in an outlet. When I say this is ready to be stuck in a battery terminal, I'm saying that to people who know what they're doing. If you have no clue what you're doing and you're running around the house with a piece of bare copper wire like this, don't go sticking it in things, especially not your nose. That would be weird. And don't stick it in an outlet either, because then you'll be fried. I know that's obvious, but you wouldn't believe some of the people in my school. So you just want to do the same thing to the other end. And then to each of these. It's very tedious, I must say. But, you know the drill. Cue the time lapse. One quick side note I'm going to throw in there. I'm recording this right after the last clip of the video, but it's going to be before that. If you cut this, if you cut the wire in half on an angle with a hacksaw, it looks really freaking cool. Just saying, that's like cool. So yeah, cool. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. Well, I was making the time lapse just for finishing up the end on this one, which is honestly the first one I've done today. Haven't even touched the other four. I noticed that my phone ran out of memory, so I've just spent the last hour or so transferring a few gigabytes of footage onto my computer, and now it's uploading to my Google Drive because, well, I'm at my dad's house, and I do all of my editing and rendering and stuff at my mom's house, because that's where I live. So, yeah. So I think that's going to be all for today. I mean, what time is it now? Well, I mean, it's not Wednesday. I don't know why my thing says Wednesday. It's actually Friday night. Well, technically, it's Saturday, but whatever. Yeah, there's the generator. I'll probably do a little bit of a build log on that this weekend too. That'll probably come out right after this video, maybe a day or so. Who knows? But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time. This has been Alex, and I'm out.